Hello, my name is James Lockman with the Adobe Digital Media Services team, and I'm here to take a little tour of our custom metadata panel for Bridge. We hope that you will enjoy it. First of all, let's see where we can find it. We'll go up to the Window menu and find extensions on Exchange, search for Custom Metadata Panel, and go ahead and entitle yourself to it. And then it will show up here in Extensions. You'll see it called Custom Metadata Panel. Don't worry about this one here. We'll get to that in a little bit. You may also be using our AEM Tags configuration panel if you work with Adobe Experience Manager. We have some other content about that and how to use it in other places. So let's look at the custom metadata panel right here. You can see when nothing is selected, it has really nothing to show you. But as its name implies, it is indeed a custom metadata panel. Now I have one configured, and we'll get to configuration in a moment, but I just wanted to show you what it looked like when you made a selection. So if we click on Leo over here, nice little dog, you can see that some things have filled in all the way down. Now you can see also that we have some keywords lit up, and if I look at metadata and start to look at some of the core properties, you might see that these values like arrival date, age, gender, pet type, boy, they don't exist anywhere here in the um, here in the core metadata or in the extension metadata or in the, well, really anywhere else because these are completely custom values. Keywords is the outlier, and you can see that I have dog, cat, June, and August as keywords here, but those keywords aren't registering here inside a bridge. Not entirely sure why. Usually they'd show up with in the other keywords area. I don't know why that isn't turned on, but doesn't really matter. Point is that they are there, they are present, and if I look in the metadata panel here at the keywords, and in core, you can see that they are listed there and they're separated properly. A note about keywords, this panel doesn't do the deep inspection that Bridge does with keywords, where it's going to combine the Lightroom hierarchical subject in order to with keywords in order with the DC subject. So DC subject and Lightroom hierarchical subject are combined to make this keywords panel. So you can see that there are in fact multiple levels. I could create a sub keyword of cat and start to fill in some additional values. And if I did that, that hierarchy is recorded in that Lightroom hierarchical subject. You can expand this though, and for a lot of asset management systems, it's a best practice to pop open your bridge preferences and then write hierarchical keywords. So I'm going to do that here. And what that will do is for the keywords, the new keywords that we create, they will contain the complete hierarchy. So cat would actually be pets and then cat, and it would be separated by this bar right here. So we'll say okay for now. And if I were to go and disable cat and then reapply cat, all right, things will have changed. If I deselect Leo, put Leo back on, you can now see here pets cat, right? So I'm starting to see the hierarchy as I reapply with hierarchy over here. That means that if you want to do a hierarchy, then you need to record that in the keywords as you entered them. So that's an awful lot of talking and not a lot of doing. So let's talk about what each of these things are from top to bottom, and then we can go and take a look at configuration. First of these is just a plain old text field, the name, Leo. It's in a custom namespace that we've created. We'll show you that in a moment. This is a dropdown. It has a few values to determine which type of pet. There's another dropdown right there. Another free-form text. This is a date picker. You can see it there. I could pick a new date and I could pick a new time of day, not 3 a.m., maybe 3 p.m., okay? Now you'll see that it has automatically changed as I'm typing. So as you're using this panel, the data is already registering. I do want to call your attention right there. That's telling you that this value has changed. It has not yet been committed to the asset. And as we scroll down, you'll see that in a moment. So I've got two date pickers right there. Our keywords, it's just a list of text fields. I can have as many text fields as I want. And the same here with notes. Now you can see as we get down near the bottom, there's this thing called AEM Tags. AEM Tags is a special thing, and you can see that it will have hierarchy. You can use this on your own. I mean, you can do some other things with it if you want it to preserve hierarchy. So we're including hierarchy. There's a specific JSON structure. So maybe I want to record this as a portrait asset. I've recorded that thing. Actually, it looks more like a square asset. So we'll say it's a square asset and say okay, and that's going to add that tag. So you can see how this is lit up green to let you know that it's going to change. And then properties orientation square. This is coming directly from Adobe Experience Manager. That's what AEM is. Now down here, I've got some other custom areas. Do I love it? Do I hate it? This is looks like it's taken a value. Okay, there's a drop down, yes and no. So we'll say yes, great, we'll keep that. And then I also have this concept of metadata presets. So if I select an asset, I can create a new metadata preset from it by typing a name and clicking plus, or I can pick one from here. And what it will do is for this form, any metadata that has been recorded in the preset would then be applied to that asset. It's a little bit different from the tools metadata templates that you would see here. And we have some additional things that you can do with that. The issue with the metadata templates is that the metadata templates they only give you access to the metadata that you have registered with Bridge in a different way. So this panel isn't doing that. It's on its own. So it's got its own it's recording its own data as you go ahead and make it. So to commit, see that save is lit up, so I can go and commit these changes, say save, and now, oh, something went wrong. We'll copy the error, and I bet it happened in here, but we'll see, because since it's an error, I can go and I can paste it and it says, oh, composite nodes can't have values in here. All right, so now I'm getting some good feedback because maybe I have something wrong in the way that I have set up my metadata there. Anyway, let's go back and take a look at the panel itself and how we tune it up. So I'm going to not try to record that. It didn't record because it died on that. We'll come back here and you can see that it still has values. Okay, cool. Excellent. So let us look at the configuration of the panel. I have settings up here, so I'll pop that open, and I can do a couple of things. One, I could type in a URL up here, and if I type in the URL and it points at a JSON file that matches the formatting of this panel, then I can load it from that web address. This is really important because if you are trying to distribute a common panel for everybody in the enterprise, you can do that by posting that at a internal web location and then have everybody just put the URL in. So then as the asset manager, if you want to change that, you can go ahead and make changes at any time. Anytime somebody restarts the bridge or restarts the panel, it will go and load it. If you want to keep it all local, then you can use the embedded editor, or you can drag and drop a JSON file right here. That would work as well. Let's open up the editor, and here we go. And you can see right here, I have a number of items that are in the panel. If I scroll down, you can see this is the one that was causing us some issues before, and we will take a look at that in some detail because I think I know what we did wrong with it. First off, I have you can see the number of items here, right? I've got text, a couple of drop downs, text to date, multi-text, AEM tags, a divider, and drop down. This thing wasn't a drop down when we started it. It was actually called tags, and tags is a little bit different. So what I want to do is change this back to tags, and we'll see the difference. So just to show you adding, I'll say add metadata, and I can pick the kind of metadata field that I'm interested in. We've got AEM tags that we talked about before, and that does require some specific configuration. A date picker, drop-down, multi-drop-down, multi-text, a section divider, a text field, and tags. Now, in the case of this one, do you love it? I had created it as tags. I had switched it to a drop-down for this purpose so that we could see what happens when we get an error. So we'll go and switch it back to tags. Now, the nice thing about drop-downs and tags is that it will provide us with options. Drop-downs and tags are going to record data slightly differently in the metadata. So you need to be careful about how you use it. You want to test it to make sure that you're not going to interfere with anything going on in your asset management system because it might record additional properties because the XMP library will do that. So if I'm creating a new one or if I'm editing, we can go top to bottom. I have to pick the type of field, in this case, a tag field. This is the display name, so what is it going to look like? And we saw that in the list. This is the prefix. Now be careful, you want to make sure that if you're putting in any prefix, you're either using the prefixes that are defined in the various specification you're targeting, or talk to your asset management manager, your DAM manager, to make sure that you know what the prefix and the namespace is for the metadata properties that you're looking for. So there's 3 levels to this. There's the prefix, there's the namespace, and then there's the property name. So the data that we're going to put into this do you love it field is going to end up in this namespace in this property. Now under options, you can see that I have a label and a value for each option. I don't need to use label and value. I could just have a list. This is JSON. So it could just be a open bracket and then with quotes around all the values. That would be just fine. But I wanted to be able to show that I can show a display value, which is the label, and then the value that I'm writing, which is all lowercase. This is very common in asset management systems where you would have a different value for the display, and then maybe you'd have one for the value that is a little bit more obscure. Maybe it's a part number, and then this might be the actual description of the thing that you're choosing, right? Or color value and so on. So this is very common to see. We do give you that option to be able to put in the JSON, and it does validate the JSON. If I were to change it, now it's not valid JSON anymore, right? I deleted that bracket. It says, hey, this isn't JSON anymore. So we'll make it JSON. It turns blue. Everything is great. I can say save. So it has been updated, which is awesome. And if I say save now, I have saved my panel. The other thing I can do is reorder. So I could take this and move it to a different place. So let's say I wanted to move it above AEM tags, and I might also want to move the love it or hate it above AEM tags. Now I have, put it right up there. I shouldn't have them both selected, right? Because they're moving at the same time. That should be better. There we go. So these things are all where they're going. And of course, I could delete it if I wanted to delete something. Before we leave here, I wanted to show you the AEM tags one. So let's say we'll delete this. No, we'll leave it alone. What I do want to do is edit it. So I can click on the edit button. And when you pick AEM tags, it will automatically fill in all these values for you. So that's kind of nice. You have read only as another option that you could select if you wanted that one. And you switch over to options, there's very specific JSON that is coming out of your AEM instance. And you can find it if it's AEM 6.4 or higher, then you can use this path right here. You type that, whatever your AEM URL is, /content/cq:/tags.tagtree.json. If you have permission to see it, you will then see some JSON. That's all of the tags that you can see, that you're permitted to see. Just copy the JSON and paste it in here. What does that JSON look like? Well, I happen to have some here, and you can see it right there. So this is quite ugly to see in this form. However, what you can do is expand it. I happen to use TextMate. TextMate has a nice little JSON bundle here, so I can reformat, and it makes it easier to see. And you can see the structure, right? So it starts out with namespaces, and then inside the namespaces, I've got default, which I'll pull up. I've got experience fragments. I have pet rescue. This is the one that I really care about because this is my pet rescue shop and all of its metadata tags. And there's pet shop and then properties and workflow. So in this editor, what I might want to do is get rid of some of those from selection. So normally what would happen is you would set the ACLs on the AEM side, and then you'd only see those that you needed to see. So it's pretty likely that default and experience fragments might not be there for you. So we can just delete that. And then we'll get rid of workflow and properties. Those might not be useful to me. And what I want to focus on is pet shop and pet rescue. So I keep that comma there. Now what I can do is select all and copy, and then go back to bridge and select all, delete, and then paste, and now I have this new JSON. You see it's valid JSON, and I'll save, and I'll save again. There we go. Oh, looks like it, now I have a couple of extras here. Where did it go? It looks like it went in the wrong place. That's okay. We can fix that. Let's see. One of these is the right one. Yeah, so I'll select that, paste it, which is good. Save it. Okay. Make sure it went in the right place. That's still not in the right place. Interesting. It looks like I might have some duplication. So let's close this up and we'll open it again. Now you can always edit this by hand. Here's the path to the JSON. So if you're interested in editing it by hand, you can always select that path, copy it, and then you can go and edit it by hand. Open the editor again. Maybe that will clear out some confusion. Let's see. We need to take this one. This is the one I want to edit. Maybe we'll do one of these at once. Okay, unless I'm pasting it, and yeah, it starts with pet rescue. That's what I want. Save. Okay, save it. We'll get rid of this one. Looks like I lost my, we'll just delete it. Okay. Save it up. That's good. Close it up. And then we'll see what we got. We'll click on Leo. So we're almost done. I need to click done. And what done is going to do is it's going to reload the panel. And that will pick up the changed JSON. So we'll select Leo now. And we can see there's my keywords. There's now, you see, do you love it is a, it's what we call a tag field. I can have multiple tags on there. There's my AEM tags. And if I click on that, it's now limited. Oh, it has everything but what I want. I have to go back in there and figure that one out. As to why that's not right. I must not have saved it, or I don't know why it's not picking it up. So we'll close that up. I can start typing yes, right? Or I can type no, I don't love it. Yeah, I don't love it that I'm getting that crazy behavior. We'll say save, done, there it is. All right, so pick on that one. You can see it changes. There's different content there. Click on this one here. Now, the reason it's saying Leo the dog, Leo the dog, Leo the dog is because I had applied this metadata preset to it. So this is not Leo, this is Mackie. So we'll change up Mackie. He's actually long gone, but when he passed, he was about 17. So we'll say that, and then those will be my changes. And we'll say save. Okay, done. Go back and switch. You see it does say Mackie, so it's picking up the right deal. And if we go and look in the just Command I, right, you can see the raw metadata, and you can see up in the registered namespaces, there's pet, which is ours, right? We put that in there for the pet shop. And then there's also, this one doesn't have James Lockman in it yet because I didn't stick in the additional down at the bottom on Do You Love It? But I do have Day, which is the CQ. That one right there has to do with my AEM tags that are put on it. And if we scroll down, you can see that there is my CQ tags that have been put in. And then I have pets dog, right? That is from keywords. And then I have, let's see, right up here, here are my other notes, right? Completely custom. Pet is the prefix, other notes is the property. It's writing a bag with all these little properties in it, which is great. If I were to import this into AEM now, which is where this form came from, then these assets would contain this and it would be ingested by AEM, which is pretty cool, AEM being our asset management system. Anyway, so that was a quick tour of our little panel. We hope that you enjoy it. Let's just one more try into the breach to see if we can get this to show just the options that I want. I suppose I could just do this, right? That definitely works. I say that and paste. See what I get. Okay, save, and then save, and then we'll close, and then we will done, and then did it do it? We'll find out. Yay, there it is. So now I only have pet rescue, and pet shop as my AEM tag trees. You can scroll to the left and right. And if you use Adobe Experience Manager, this is very similar. Of course, if you use this and you want to use this structure and that same JSON structure, just be careful to use the complete structure that's in there. It's got to match, but it will give you this nice hierarchical picker that you can follow through and find active. We'll set that now. Now he's an active pooch and save. There you go. Again, you can go and find it at the extensions marketplace, find extensions on Exchange, and look for custom metadata panel.